UFC 307 is coming up next weekend, and today, guys, I have the complete betting guide for you with timestamps if you'd like to skip to any part of the video. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with too many YouTube channels. Guys, we're going to be talking about confident picks on the card, underdog opportunities, fights that I believe you should not be betting on, my personal lock of the week, and then we're going to get into it with a more fun part of the video, that being looking for props, making ridiculous parlays, and we're going to take a look at the final betting recap, which unfortunately did not go so well. Regardless, guys, you can skip to any part of the video that you would like. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get into it with the confident picks. And it is important to note with these confident picks on the card, guys, I'm giving a brief reason talking about all of these fights. If you guys would like me to dive a little bit more deep into these fights, I have a video already there, literally diving as deep into the fights as we can get. I have a full card breakdown video. But anyways, my first confident pick is going to be Tim Means. It's mostly because, and I know that both these fighters are the primes. I know Tim Means is 40 years old, but Court McGee has been declining more than Tim Means, in my opinion. Tim Means showed in one of his recent performances against Andre Viajo just a year ago that he still got it to some extent. I cannot say the same for Court McGee. He was one of those fighters that really got by on his toughness, and unfortunately that toughness seemed to have not quite run out, but he's getting towards the end of his career over here. Let's continue on to another confident pick. The next one is going to be Tisha Pennington. Tisha Pennington is probably, in my opinion, just going to be stronger than Carla Esparza. All Carla Esparza has, and we've known this for her career for a long time now, is she just has the takedowns. Her striking is garbage. And Tisha Pennington, I like that how she fought off the grappling with Tabitha Ricci, man. And I personally thought that she won this fight. And I think a lot of people thought that she won this fight too. You get close to her, she just starts swinging. If she does that same thing against Carla Esparza, it should be a very easy night for her. Let's continue on to another confident pick. That's going to be Eisman Lucindo. Now, out of all of the confident picks, this one is the least confident pick that I have, but I am confident that Eisman Lucindo is going to get the job done. I just worry because you have somebody who is 22 years old, almost 23 years old, fighting somebody who's so experienced against such high-level competition in Marina Rodriguez, but I love the role that she's been in right now. I love the technique that she's shown. I think that she's been very promising since she came to the UFC. We've seen her for a little while now, and she even, when it comes to striking, she even beat Karolina Kowalkiewicz in the striking. She has a complete skill set, and I believe Marina Rodriguez is now past her prime as well. Eisman Lucindo, I really like her to win this fight. Let's continue on to another confident pick that is going to be Joaquin Buckley. Man, Joaquin Buckley, all he has to do is not stand and strike and want to make a point. If he fights this fight smart, he should beat Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, no problem. He has the wrestling, he has the strength, he has the control. He might even be able to hang with Wonderboy in the stand-up, but that is always very dangerous. That's the only thing that I worry about Joaquin Buckley. If he comes in, fights his fight how he's supposed to, I believe he will have a very dominant performance. And I've still been very iffy on whether or not I want to bet on Buckley. It's really tough, man. Let's continue on, though, to the final confident pick that we have today, and it's going to be Alex Pereira. Guys, I have been saying throughout the UFC 307 saga that we're in right now that I smell an upset on this one. I don't know why, just a little bit of a gut feeling, but 9 out of 10 times, Alex Pereira should win this fight. He's the better striker. It's going to be a striking match. Khalil Roundtree is very hittable. Alex Pereira is probably going to put his lights out. With that being said, though, guys, let's continue on to some underdog opportunities. Now, these are not necessarily picks of mine. These are not fights that I'm necessarily betting on myself. I'm just saying if you're looking for underdogs on the card, these underdogs winning would not shock me. And I want to know what you guys think about this first one over here, because the first one's going to be Ihor Potieria. Last time I said this, and he was fighting Michel Pereira, I said that everybody's counting out Ihor Potieria. I think it's crazy, and this fight should be a pick'em. Turned out to be a bad call on mine. Okay, I get it. And I just thought it was crazy that he was a 5-1 underdog against Michel Pereira. He went in, he got steamrolled. I don't think that one performance changes my mind on Ihor Potieria. If it happens again, I'm done with the guy. If it happens again, okay, I'm done with the guy. But he is sitting at a large underdog again against Cesar Almeida, who is very inexperienced at high-level competition like Ihor Potieria, but Cesar Almeida has shown that he has a complete skill set, and he's coming off of a fantastic fight against Roman Kopylov. If Ihor Potieria comes out and wrestles, he could give Cesar Almeida some issues, but even when it comes to the striking, Ihor Potieria is a very underrated fighter in my opinion. I think that he has the capability of winning this fight. It would not shock me at all if he won this fight. I know I'm gassing up Ihor Potieria here. I'm not saying he's some world champion. I'm just saying, I think people are counting him out. If it happens again, I'll be with you guys on that one. But right now, I'm still on Team Ehorpiteria. Let's continue on to the next underdog opportunity. And I think it's crazy that he's this big of an underdog so far. And last I looked, it was more than plus 145. Jose Aldo. Look what, take his last performance in just 4 months ago against Jonathan Martinez. You have the same kind of situation. And I understand that since Jonathan Martinez lost, everybody's like, oh, of course he was going to lose to Aldo. That's crazy. Jonathan Martinez is a fantastic fighter, just like we're seeing with Mario Batista over here. It's the same kind of deal. You have this really hyped up prospect, but deservingly hyped. Just like Jonathan Martinez, Mario Batista also deserves the hype that he's been getting. Jose Aldo is one of the most experienced, well-rounded, and best fighters that has ever lived. The problem is he's just 38 years old now. He's not the same fighter that he once was. He has all the tools in his skill set in order to beat a guy like Mario Batista. It would not shock me at all if Jose Aldo got the win. So that's one that I'm personally going to stay away from. Actually, I'm going to stay away from both of them. I don't want to bet on Ehorpiteria again. But these two fighters winning, I don't think is out of the question at all. But guys, let's continue on to the next part, which being fights that I believe you should avoid. We have a few fights on here. The first one being Ovince St. Preux versus Ryan Spann. Guys, you have two of the most inconsistent fighters of all time fighting each other. How are you supposed to predict what's going to happen in this fight? I think you are literally tossing a coin if you're betting on this fight. That's all for that one. Let's continue on to the next fight. We have Alexander Hernandez versus Austin Hubbard. It's more because of Alexander Hernandez, and I feel like I talk about this every single time he fights. Again, he is a very, very inconsistent fighter, and he does lose more than he wins, so I would understand if you're betting against him, but sometimes this dude just shows up and he looks like he's a world killer. Sometimes he just looks like a world champion when he shows up. But that doesn't happen very often, and Alexander Hernandez is typically a subpar fighter. I just don't think you should take the chance in assuming that Alexander Hernandez will show up and just look good for some reason. Anyways, let's continue on to the next fight. Roman Dolidze versus Kevin Holland. I do not believe you should be betting on because of Kevin Holland. Recently, and I know his last fight might have changed this a little bit, but that was a really quick fight. We don't know what type of Kevin Holland is going to show up. Is Kevin Holland going to show up and not care, just want a paycheck? Is he going to show up and treat this just like a sparring match? We don't know anymore, and Kevin Holland will need to have a few really good performances to really change my mind about this. He should beat Roman Dolidze. He is better than Roman Dolidze. He should finish Roman Dolidze. He should be miles ahead of Roman Dolidze. But what if Kevin Holland comes out and he's like, hey, I'm getting paid, and just doesn't work at it. He just wants to come in there, throw a few shots, just kind of like the Jack Della Maddalena performance. I worry about Kevin Holland. I don't worry about him, but I worry about the confidence level that people have in Kevin Holland for that reason. I think I need to see a few performances of him really, really digging in there and wanting to really kill the guy in order for me to really gain my faith back in that he's going to come. And there was another thing that actually, I'm just going to mention it now. Okay, guys. There is one really, really important thing when talking about this entire card when it comes to betting. They're in Salt Lake City. They're in Utah. This isn't a good card to bet on in general because every single time they have been in Utah, these fighters gas out. They're at elevation. How many fights have you seen just sit down and get completely sloppy and the upsets happen? And typically, the guy with the more cardio, or not even the case sometimes because the oxygen's different, right? Things happen in Salt Lake City that aren't supposed to happen. So honestly, just be really, really, really careful with your money on this card. I don't know how much I'm going to be betting yet. There's a few fights that I'm really, really considering, but you can never really predict how a fighter will look at elevation unless we've really seen it before. But with that being said, though, guys, let's continue on to my personal lock of the week. The fighter on the card that I believe has the biggest chance or closest to 100 chance of winning is going to be, unfortunately, another really big favorite, that being Kayla Harrison. The UFC is trying to push her. She's coming over from PFL. Ketlen Vieira is a very unimpressive fighter, fighting Kayla Harrison, who is a gold medalist and roided out beyond belief. She's going to ragdoll Ketlen Vieira, and she is going to probably work her way over to a title fight. I'm very confident Kayla Harrison will get the job done just like you guys are. But before we move on to the next part, guys, I do want to stop you for just a second because if you are interested in either supporting the channel or seeing exactly where I'm putting my money where my mouth is, because I talk a lot about betting on this channel, you can check out in the pinned comment description down below or right next to the subscribe button. You can check out the channel membership, which is very, very cheap compared to other channels. Every Thursday or Friday before the events, I'll be uploading a community post as well as a members only video explaining exactly what I'm doing with my money and the bets that I'm making. So if you're interested in, again, either supporting the channel or combining your own fight research with the knowledge that I have of MMA, then feel free to check it out. Again, very, very cheap compared to other channels. We do have the betting recap, which unfortunately we got murdered. I'm going to be honest, I do not expect anybody to sign up this week because got murdered, but that is typically not the case for this channel, but we always want to take responsibility for our losses when we're talking about betting. Regardless, let's continue on, guys, to the more fun part of the video, that being looking for any props. And as of right now, we have a few things over on OddsJam, and I forgot to talk about it. OddsJam, guys, real quick, I'll stop you there. If you want to use OddsJam, OddsJam is a partner sponsorship of the channel. If you guys want to check out OddsJam, you can have the link in the pinned comment description down below with the code Clenbat if you guys are interested in using it. It's fantastic for multiple sports books. It's the fastest at putting out lines where you can get your money. I'll stop talking about it. You can check out OddsJam if you would like to. So what do we have going on over here? You know what? I'll make my face cam a little bit smaller over there. Let's continue looking at these. You see some over-unders right now. 2.5 for Carlos Esparza is at minus 510. That's nuts, okay? Court McGee versus Tim Means. Nothing really is standing out at the moment. I wish we had more props to take a look at right now. Over 1.5 for Pereira and Roundtree is at minus 125. I don't even like that, man. Kayla Harrison, Ketlen Vieira. It's just, can Ketlen Vieira hold off Kayla Harrison? Actually, she might be able to do that. Jose Aldo Mario Batista. Yeah, that's probably going to go over. This one's tough, man. Even Rovan Dolidze versus Kevin Holland is at minus money if you go to a decision or over 2.5. Pena Pennington, minus 188 for over 4.5. I don't hate that one, actually. I don't hate that one. But for me personally, I'm a big fan of over 1.5 bets. Wow. Cesar Almeida versus Ihor Peteria over 1.5 at plus money right now. I could see that happening, but again, I don't know how much I like that. There's no props right now that are really screaming out to me and saying, hey, let's bet on this. Regardless, guys, let's continue on with, again, the more fun part of the video that we have going on over here. And I'm still going to be using Betway. If you guys have been following the channel, you might know that I've recently switched over to Bet365 because Betway has been ridiculously slow, but I do like their interface that we have going on over here. You know what? Maybe this will be easier. Yeah, that'll be a lot easier, okay? Let's take a look at what we can get over here. Again, really, really fun part of the video. It's not a ton to... Let's pick some fights over here, okay? Alex Pereira. Oh, that's tough. Raquel Pennington, Joaquin Buckley, Kevin Holland, Eisman Lucindo, Kayla Harrison, Mario Batista, Cesar Almeida, Tisha Pennington, all of those. It's just plus 26 times your money. That is never, ever going to hit. But what if we want to put in a couple confident picks like Tisha Pennington, Alex Pereira? That's not too bad, actually. But honestly, at the odds that Tisha Pennington's at, that's something that I would, for me personally, that's something that I would hit just by itself. I try to bet as safely as possible. So even like Joaquin Buckley, I would hit that by itself. I'm just, with this sport that we watch, man, parlays are ridiculous, okay? Even if I want to go Cesar Almeida, he's too big of a favorite for me to bet on, like, because I like Cesar Almeida in this matchup, but yeah, I think that fight should be a lot closer than it is. But even if you want to go Cesar Almeida, like, do a couple kind of confident, not so confident Cesar Almeida, but these two together I actually don't really mind. But again, Mario Batista I would hit just at that. What if we just want to do like some really solid confident picks like Pereira, Buckley, Lucindo, and Pennington together? That's almost 5 times your money. That I actually don't hate, but again, this isn't something that I would personally hit. And another thing I like to do every single week, my sister and I put 10 cents on every single underdog on the card just to see what we can get. We were almost millionaires one time in Bellator, but 10 cents, that's even nothing together. Is this even all the fights? No. This is Betway. There's no way that's all the fights. I'm not going to sit here and think about it. But regardless, guys, there's nothing we can really do with the parlays over there. The one that I do like the best, if you really want to do a parlay, is Pereira, Buckley, Lucindo, Pennington. Even if you want to take one out of there, I would take Lucindo out of there, and then you get almost 3 times your money. That I don't personally mind. Now, guys, let's get into the big kicker of the video. Unfortunately, we always have to take responsibility for our losses, right? And UFC Paris, I got slaughtered. This was the worst I've done. Unbelievable. Like I said, I do not expect anybody to sign up if anybody's looking for to combine, because I can imagine you're looking at this, you go, what fight knowledge? So, of course, you know what? I'll switch my webcam over there. I'm still trying to figure out what's best over here, okay? So, we have the official MMA plays for UFC Paris. Balaji Oki, Matt Frivola, Joe Anderson Brito, Benoit, Saint Denis. Even if you want to talk about the Joe Anderson Brito one, I personally thought that fight could have gone either way. Balaji Oki, like, I still sit down and think, like, man, I had okay reads on this because Balaji Oki was really a few steps ahead until he ended up getting finished. I didn't think that was going to happen. Matt Frivola was the one that really shocked me. I was super confident Matt Frivola to get the job done, but his opponent was vastly improved. That plus, I thought just the matchup with him coming forward, him utilizing the wrestling, I thought that fight was set up for Matt Frivola to get the win, but that is going to be the last time I bet on Matt Frivola. He's too crazy. I thought the matchup was really good. These two just straight up shocked me as well. Benoit Saint Denis I thought was going to murder Moicano, just like a lot of people did. And Joe Anderson Brito, I kept saying I was going to bet on him until he lost. I might still do that because it was a super close fight. But the dude stock did not go down at all. He looked fantastic in that fight, and he went through a war, man. Joe Anderson Brito is still fantastic. Unfortunately, it's bound to happen if you're betting on this sport. But yeah, that one's real rough to talk about. I can tell you. That's not something that typically happens over here on this channel. Let me know what you guys thought about all of the picks down below. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Check out the full card breakdown if you guys would like me to dive into these fights as deep as I can get. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Take care, everybody.